What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are looking back at my preseason power rankings from the deep dive series I did on my other channel, and we're going to compare it to what actually happened in the NFL. Am I a genius? Am I an idiot? Does it really matter? Because you should still be hitting the thumbs up on this video and subscribing if you haven't already. I got tons of content coming out, lots of new series coming out from now through the Super Bowl, through the draft. Now I'm going to help talk about my credibility and hopefully prove it. Kind of. Let's hope. Let's go division by division. Start. All right, guys, so we are going to go division by division. So we'll start with the AFC East. And I predicted that the Buffalo Bills would win the division. They'd be the sixth best team in the NFL in terms of their record. I had Miami coming in second there and ninth. The Patriots coming 16th in the league, right in the middle of the pack team. And I did have the Jets being one of the worst teams in the NFL, 6, 9, 16, 18. I did get the order correct. So if we go and look at this, I did get the order correct. Buffalo 13-3, Dolphins 9-8, New England 8-9, and the Jets, they did go 7-10. Great year for them. If they had a little bit more consistent quarterback play, a little more consistent offensive play, they probably would have been a playoff team. So let's compare. I did actually have a record prediction. I'll pop that screen up here. You guys are comfortable with the format that I'm going with. A little less explaining. So I had the Bills 13-4. What do you know? I kind of nailed that, didn't I? I kind of nailed it. I said they would get 13 wins. They did. The result of that Bengals game aside, what they decided to do there, I was one game off with New England. They went 8-9. I thought they were going to go 9-8. And the difference maker was that I had them, as you can see there, if you can make it out, my amazing graphic work from back in August and July. I had them beating the Bills, and that game, of course, did not turn out that way. I was off quite a bit with both the Jets and the Dolphins, I will say. I had 12 wins for the Dolphins. They ended up with just 9. And the Jets were full 5 games better than what I had them at. So, good for the Jets. They really overachieved. I think the Dolphins did underachieve. They ended up sort of settling in as to where most people had them, which was like a middle of the pack team. And I think, if they not suffered the setbacks at the quarterback position, that probably would have been a bit of a different story. But based upon this, they would have been, I believe I had them as my number 1. No, they were my number 2 wild card team behind Kansas City, which we'll get to later. So I did have them as the 6th seed, so that's got to account for something, even though they ended up being the 7th seed. But, pretty good. I'll give myself 2 out of 4. I think that's fair. 2 out of 4 for the AFC East. Moving on to the AFC North, I had the Bengals as the 8th best team in the divisional winners there. I had Baltimore and Cleveland finishing 17th and 18th in the NFL. I had them both missing the playoffs. And I had Pittsburgh coming in last, 21st in the league. So I think my Bengals prediction sort of does come through here. I think I got that one just about correct. The Ravens, I think I'll have to look at their record as well with the Browns and the Steelers. But if we go back to the actual divisions, I barely missed out on the order. I did get the top 2 teams correct, though the Ravens did make the playoffs. I did not predict that coming through. We had a 9-win season for the Steelers. Mike Tomlin still can't have a losing season. And Cleveland finished with 7 wins, which if we go to my record predictions, look at that. Would you look at that? Nailed the divisional winners win total yet again. 12-5. They were a 12-win team. Shout out to me for that. I was 1 game off with Baltimore, and they also made the playoffs, so I kind of swung and I missed on both of those. We had an 8-win season from Pittsburgh. I was 1 game off on that, and then I was 2 games off on Cleveland, so I don't really know, like do I give myself Pittsburgh for going 8-9 when they went 9-8? I won't. I'm only going to give myself the 12 wins and divisional winners for the Bengals. So that's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. I think I'm being pretty harsh, though. I am being pretty harsh with my own rankings. I'm my own worst critic right now. So you guys tell me, if I'm being too harsh on myself and if I should be giving myself a little bit more credit for this. Now, this is the one that I am most proud of, mostly because of what you're going to see with the Tennessee Titans and the incredibly underachieving Indianapolis Colts, as well as completely nailing the fact that the Texans were going to have the number 2 overall pick in the draft as the 31st team in the league. I did completely miss on Jacksonville, as so many of us did, but I think the Titans one sort of makes up for it there. As you can see, I had them as 22nd ranked team in the league. I was not very high on them at all, as we'll get to see, but we'll talk about the actual results from the real life. 9 wins for Jacksonville, 7 for the Titans, 4 for the Colts, and 3 for Houston. So I did nail Houston's actual position as the second worst team in the NFL. So I think I do get a point for that so far. Titans coming second in the division, under 500. We'll see this right here. 7-10. Nailed it perfectly. Nailed it absolutely perfectly. 7-10. There's got to be a super bonus for that. I got to get a super bonus for nailing this Titans one. People thought I was crazy. People had the Titans as a top 15, top 12, even top 10 team in the NFL coming into the season. They're like, they won the AFC. I'm like, they're extremely overrated. They're extremely overrated. They don't have a whole lot going on. You can even see it. Look at my face there. Look at my face. The sarcastic face that I was making in this video. Absolutely condescending, but it is what it is. I nailed that one, so I'm going to give myself 1 for that. I'm going to give myself 2 for that because I got the record perfect, and it was a hot take. So I'm giving myself 2 for that, and of course I'm giving myself another 1 for Houston. Even though I was off by 1 game, by 1 win, I gave them 2 wins. They got 3. I did completely nail that they would be the second worst team in the league and have the number 2 pick in the draft. So I'm giving myself points for that one, boys. Giving myself points for that one. What do you guys think? Moving on to the AFC West, and I'm going to give myself a point for saying that Denver Broncos were going to be extremely disappointing, because I said they would, and they were. They were much more disappointing than I think any of us anticipated. I think so. But I was one of the few people that said they're going to be the last place team in their division. They'll probably win a bunch of games. But I think that they're going to generally disappoint people, and they did. And they did. So, you know what? I'll give myself half a point for that. I did really, really overestimate how good the Raiders were going to be. I thought that adding Devontae Adams was going to be an extra boost to them. I thought adding Chandler Jones was going to be an extra boost to them, to a team that was already a playoff team last year. That turned out to not be the case. They choked away a lot of games, which you can talk about that being a coaching issue. You can talk about that being a game planning issue, a player maturity issue, whatever you want to call it. It was something I didn't anticipate. I did have the Chargers a little overrated. I had them winning the division, and the Chiefs coming in second in the division. Now, we'll look at the actual records of everyone. Chiefs 14-3, Chargers went 10-7, 6 wins for the Raiders, 5 wins for the Broncos. What a terrible, terrible year for both of those teams. In what I'm sure many, I definitely did, thought that this was going to be the best division in football. There was an issue with my Chargers video in terms of the record prediction schedule. But I did have them winning the division, and I did have them winning as a tiebreaker, as you can see here with the Chiefs. So I did have 13 wins also for the Chargers. Just full disclosure here, it just got screwed up in my post-productions aspect of the video. YouTube gets weird sometimes like that. But I don't know that I can. I think I'll get half a point, I guess, for predicting that Denver was going to stink. 13 wins for the Chiefs was pretty close, but I also had them coming second in the division, so I can't really give myself for that. So I'm just going to say that other than that Denver prediction coming in last and them disappointing, I didn't really do a great job with the AFC West at all. Moving on to the NFC East, and kind of like with my Chargers one, I don't know what happened to my Cowboys video at all. I really don't. YouTube, why isn't it there anymore? I didn't delete it. Why isn't it there? I posted it. I know I did. But the Cowboys, looking at the process of elimination, I do have the Cowboys as the number 10 team in the NFL and winning the division. So we can go based off of that. The Eagles, you can see there I have them number 13. The Giants, I had them at number 19, which a lot of people had them at 26 and below, which I'm going to get some points for predicting my New York Giants almost perfectly here. And then Washington, I had them 23, which, I mean, I didn't do too bad with this one. I just didn't anticipate that the Eagles would be one of the number one seeds with, I think, the best record in the league. But looking at this, 14-3, Cowboys went 12-5, which I think is about how many wins I had them as. I can't confirm or deny it. The Giants went 9-7, 9-7-1, and then the Commanders went 8-8-1, coming in last in their division. But as you can see, nailed the Giants. 9 wins. I had the Giants at 9 wins. From the looks of it, I think I did have the Cowboys at 12 wins. So I guess I'll give myself a point for that and a point for the Giants one. But can't reward myself for the Eagles or Washington. I was 2 games off on Washington. They did come in last. I did anticipate that. But I think a lot of people, I'm not going to pat myself on the back for predicting that they would come in last when I think a lot of people probably should have. But man, how about that Giants one, huh? That's like my Titans one. It was another hot take of mine. People were like, "Oh, you're such a homer." I'm like, they're gonna win. They could win 9 games, maybe even 10. And based upon what happened in their season, the games that I had them winning over here, I mean, they tied Washington, which they could have won that game, right? They lost to the Lions. That wasn't exactly a game that people think that they could have possibly have lost. I had them beating the Seahawks. I mean, could they have beaten the Seahawks? Depends, I guess, on what time of the year they were playing them. If they played them a little bit later in the year, maybe they would have caught them. But I mean, I had them beating the Titans. They did. That was a hot take. People were talking trash about me. So, ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I know my team. Ha ha ha. Now, oh boy. Oh boy. So I'm just going to hold a giant L for my NFC North predictions. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it like a man. I had Green Bay as the 3rd best team in the league. I had Minnesota as the 24th team in the league. The Bears, I knew they were going to be bad. I didn't think they'd be the worst. I think I did nail their win total though. So I might give myself a half a point for that. I could use all the points I could get, let's just say, for this divisional prediction, because holy crap. So that's the order I had them in. And this is what it looked like. 13-4 for the Vikings, 9 wins for Detroit, which I did say in the Detroit video. I do remember, because I did feel this way about Detroit, that they could be the team that really surprises everyone this year. And I think that they did a great job at that. Knocking out of the playoffs on a tiebreaker is kind of heartbreaking. Green Bay went on that run late, couldn't close it out on Sunday night, last night. And the Bears, dead last, 3-14, which I think I did have them at 3-14. We're going to find out. I did, 3-14. So I'm going to give myself a point for that. I could use all the points I could get. Thank you very much. I am not going to sacrifice that. I need them, because look at what I had Green Bay as. Look at what I had Minnesota as. Jeez. Oh, that was terrible. But hey, I'm really proud of my Bears prediction. 3-14. Nailed it perfectly. I didn't get the games right. Doesn't look. I didn't. That's fine. That's fine. Can't be too perfect. Can't be too perfect, guys. Can't be too perfect. But I'm giving myself something for that. But oh boy. And I think it just gets worse, I think it just gets worse from here. And boy, oh boy, does it ever get worse. I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as my number 1 team. I had the New Orleans Saints as my number 12 team. I said the Atlanta Falcons were the worst team in the NFL. And I think I might have gotten actually the Panthers one. 26th. Where are they picking the draft? 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're picking 8th in the draft. So I almost nailed this. I almost nailed the Panthers one. I almost did. Almost did. Almost. But this might be the biggest L I've taken in all of them. Because Tampa was nowhere near, if in case you didn't know, was nowhere close to being the number 1 team in the NFL. And the Atlanta Falcons were actually nowhere near being the worst team in the NFL. They actually were a game away from winning the division. So, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who would have thought the NFC South would have been the worst division in football this year? Not me, because if you look, I had 14 wins for Tampa Bay. I only had 3 wins for Carolina, 2 wins for Atlanta. I had 10 wins for the Saints. But man, those 14 wins for 14 wins for the Bucs. Ew. What was I thinking? What in the hell was I thinking? I mean, I was probably thinking what a lot of people were thinking. How many people didn't have the Bucs as like a top 2, top 3 team in their power rankings? You know, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's an L, but like, how big of an L could I hold? I think a giant one. We all gotta hold it. We all were too smart apparently for our own good. And oh boy. Oh boy. I got the 49ers. The Rams, I mean, who could have accounted for all their injuries, right? Seahawks, who could have accounted for them just shocking the world, even though from the looks of it, I think I had them with 2 wins. And Arizona, I mean, I did talk about it in the Arizona video. You can go back and watch it. I was talking about the whole video about I think I overrated this team. I was the whole video just going player by player, the schedule. I was like, I think I might have accidentally overrated this team, and I did. So at least I had some self-awareness in actually making the video that I almost talked myself out of it, but I had already done teams 32 through 15, so I couldn't just change it then. So, you know, it is what it is. But when you look at the real standings, 13 wins for the 49ers. They were 13-4. They won the division. I did have the Rams winning the division. This is all out of whack. Seahawks made the playoffs. So, I mean, yeah, giant L. A giant L. I was 1 game off, though, for the 49ers. 1 game off. 1 freaking game off. Damn it. Just 1. Close. Very close, but I had them coming second in the division. They won the division. I had them with 13 wins. They had 14 wins. Not giving myself a point for that. Not doing it. God, these last 2 divisions. What a way to end this. I should have ended it with the AFC South and the NFC East. I did really great right in the middle there, guys, right? I did so great right in the middle. And then it got to these last 2 divisions, and now I have to look at me predicting the Rams and the Bucs being teams 1 and 2 with 14 wins apiece. They didn't even combine for 14 wins this season, let alone have 14 each. They combined for 13 wins, guys. How much did I screw that up? Oh my God. I promise I'm kind of smart. I hope you guys saw that I was kind of smart through this. And there you go. What do you think? Am I smart? Do I kind of know my stuff? Just a little bit. Some good predictions there. Swung and missed on a couple, you know. But what can I say? I tried. Thanks for coming. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.